Good morning. Good morning, Facebook. Good morning. Oh, I'm not Instagram. I forgot to put it on Instagram. Good morning. It's Ingrid Owens here. Thank you for watching the replay. I will give some people a minute to get on here live. I did say I was coming on at 10:30 and I'm a little late today. But good morning. If you are watching me live, let me know that you're watching me, where you're watching me from. And let me know how it's going this morning. If we've never met before, my name is Ingrid Owens, and I am a business coach and marketing strategist for creative service-based entrepreneurs, such as photographers, graphic designers, web designers, all of those kinds of people who provide creative services for typically other online businesses, but also some customers and consumers as well. Thank you for checking out my weekly Facebook Live. Right now, it is Tuesday morning, and I do this little show every Tuesday called Biz Talk Tuesday. And we go live here on Facebook, and we talk about business related stuff. We talk about visibility stuff. We talk about how to get your more clients, get more customers, get more eyeballs on your creative services. So today I meant to totally go live here on on Instagram. This is majorly, I don't know what's going on here with my name. I try to make it different, but I seem to have made it smaller. So it's on there and that's okay. Good morning, Linda. Hi, thank you for joining me live. If you do end up watching the replay, go ahead and write #replay. And just so that I can give you a shout out the next time, make sure that we know that you is watching this and if this stuff is valuable. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that has been on my mind, and it is constantly on my mind because it is a reoccurring theme in not only my clients' businesses, but in my own business. And that is the whole concept of perfectionism and how I believe that it is one of the things that hold so many of us back. In promoting our businesses and ultimately in helping more people and getting more clients. As you see, I have corrected and fidgeted with this camera 100 times already, and we're only in 2 minutes, right? Because I'm also a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Um, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because I really do think that it is one of the biggest problems as creative service-based people. We have this whole idea that we are perfectionists. We hold our abilities in our craft very high. We are very particular about our work. That is why we are so good at what we do. But the flip side of that is we don't want to share work unless it is absolutely perfect. We don't want to put our work out there until it is absolutely perfect. I'm using the bunny ears because, as we'll talk about perfectionism in a minute, it doesn't actually exist. And we stop ourselves from sharing our work and getting out there in front of our ideal clients because our work isn't in our brains perfect enough. So the reason why I want to talk about this so much today is because I've experienced this a lot myself, but I experienced it very recently, i.e. yesterday. So for those of you who don't know, I'm in the midst of an international move. Me and my family are moving from here in the US back home to Ireland, where I'm originally from. And there are a lot of moving parts involved in that. In the move and in keeping my business going to the level that I want it to be at and growing it to the level that I want to be at, it requires a lot of moving parts. And one of the things that has come to the wall, and it's totally my own fault, is my visibility, I feel, on my Instagram feed, right? And kind of to a certain extent on here on Facebook, but I kind of cover that here with this live. But I don't feel like I have been visible enough as I wanted to be on my Facebook feed or on my Instagram feed. And that is just because of a lack of planning on my part, because how I feel like we should really approach our Instagram feed is really getting that stuff scheduled out of the way, in advance, so that way we don't have to worry about it on a day-to-day basis. So this is the ideal. This is what I would like to do. Now, I had planned to do that last week before the beginning of this new month. I had let that slip, right? So it's just a little slip, right? I will get caught up. But in the meantime, I didn't want to go for a whole week or a whole couple of days without having said anything, because consistency with visibility is key, right? So all day yesterday, and I mean all day, from morning to night, I thought about what am I going to post on Instagram? What am I going to post on Instagram? And I had a ton of photographs, but I had nothing that I felt was good enough, right? So then I started to spiral into this whole like mindset, like mess about none of my work is good enough. There's no photos that I want to share. There's nothing that I want to say. I have nothing to say. Who does want to listen to me anyway? And I start getting into this whole spiral, right? This whole self-pity spiral. And the truth is I have a ton to say, and I have a lot of photographs that I could use, and I could have used 100 of different types of photos, but none of them I felt were good enough, right? Or were accurate enough that I wanted to say. But there was this one photo of my husband and myself that was really cute, and that was all timely. We took it at the weekend in Chattanooga. It was so much fun. But he took it with his phone, or we took a selfie with his phone. And his phone's not very good at taking photos in low light. And, being a photographer and knowing all of the ways that it should look, I was like, this is just not good enough, right? And I was beating myself up all day about will I share it, won't I? In fact, I posted it. I put it up there, but I didn't actually hit the send button. I didn't actually post it till early this morning. That's how long I procrastinated in doing it, because it wasn't good enough, right? And the funny thing is that when I shared that photo, I had at least 4 people comment on it and say, I totally feel you, because what I had said on the post was like, I'm hiding. I don't want to post it because it's perfect enough, right? This whole art imitating life, imitating business, right? But it resonated with a few people. It resonated with several people, and I have no doubt it will resonate with more, right? Because we all feel that, right? We find it hard to put our own work out there, and especially as a creative, we judge our work very harshly, because we don't judge it yes, we do judge it very harshly, but it's part of ourselves, right? So we're almost afraid to have it judged, right? That's the real root of it, right? That's the real underlying part of it, is that we don't want to put our piece of ourself out there to be judged. And you know what? That photo was very less than perfect. It was very I could critique it out the wazoo. But the point is that the sentiment and the words that went behind it were what I was needing to communicate and what I wanted to communicate, and which I did do, right? So I put it out there. And so I kept the goal, I kept my promise to myself that I would stay consistent, and I helped other people. And so that's the thing with perfectionism, is that when we laud it as a thing that we desire to achieve, that's something that we are, that, oh, well, I'm just a perfectionist, I get everything done perfectly. Like, that really isn't serving you, or it's not serving your business or your customer, because there is no such thing as perfect. My daughter was the first person, I've heard of this whole idea, but my daughter was the first person to say this. I'm glad you get me, Linda. It means a lot to hear I'm not my own with this, but I know that I'm not, because I hear all of my people saying the same thing, but it's challenging, right? It comes up at every different point in our business, right? But my little girl was the first person to say this to me, because I was, in a way that I had never really heard it before, I was trying to do her hair, and I was like, oh, we just want to make it perfect. And she was like, Mom, there's no such thing as perfect. And I was like, there is no such thing. But it's like when your 10-year-old points that out to you, you're like, what the bleep? Yes, of course there's no such thing as perfect. I think we need to know that we're not alone in that. You're dead right, Linda. Because it can feel very lonely thinking that we are, everything has to be perfect and we can't put our stuff out there because we're constantly bombarded with everybody else's perfect vision, especially on Instagram, especially on Facebook, especially on all this social media. Like, people just put their best foot forward, and there's a part of me that are like, yeah, you want to put your best foot forward. But if it's stopping you from moving forward, then that is not okay. Like, that is just doing nobody any good. And what happens is we develop so much taste, and so we hone our craft so much, and we hone our taste almost before we can hone our craft, right? So this is very evident to me as somebody who is a photography teacher, because I knew very well, and I've been looking at photos of photographers and working with photographers, literally been involved in the business since I was 14. So I have been consuming other people's content, other people's photos, looking at, judging, criticizing, critiquing, learning from other people's work from when I was 14. Now, I started to take photos when I was 14 as well, but my skill level didn't meet up to my expectations, ever. It's still not there, right? I can still really look at other people's work and go like, man, that is awesome. For all of these reasons, that is technically correct. That is artistically beautiful. It speaks to me on a whole different level. And that my taste level is here. My actual skill level is right down here, right? Right? Because I've been doing it for so long and I've helped so many people with their work, but my skill level never meets my expectations of my taste level, right? And that is always going to be the way, and I feel like that's the way of a creator, right? Because our taste level is always superseding our skill level, and that's why we're always trying to get better and better and better. But we have to remember that there's people who do not have that level of skill or who have that level of taste, and our work can help and reach those people, right? So if you are, as I know we have some people on the live here who are talented photographers, we hold our bar up here. We're people who can't do that type of work and who really want to use your stuff and buy your work or buy your services. Their skill level and their skill level is way down, and their taste level is way down lower as well. So that they are going to be attracted to your work. People who I need to help, they're really not even looking at the pictures. They're not like judging me. And you know what? Some people are judging me. And some people are judging you too, but that's okay. They're always going to judge. You can't help that. You cannot stop what other people are thinking about you, right? Their thoughts about you is none of your business. But there are some people who are going to want your work. There are some people who are going to be moved by your images, moved by your words, inspired, made feel like they're not alone, felt more part of a community, pushed more towards what they want to do. I want to be able to inspire people to reach the businesses that they want to make, the goals that they want to make, to grow their businesses, right? And you can't do that when you're not out there. So visibility and being visible and being seen allows you to reach that greater people, allows you to grow your business, but then you cannot do that if you are not putting your work and not putting yourself out there. So how do we do that? Well, the first and the best tip that I can give you is to plan it ahead, right? So plan it ahead when you're in that good frame of mind that this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to say. Get it all done. My favorite tool for planning in Instagram right now is Planoly. You can only post 30 images or schedule out 30 images at a time. But for me, that works fine. I find it hard to even do an entire month at a time. And so I know that many of my clients will only work a couple of weeks at a time, even a day at a time. And that's the key. Even if you can get like a day ahead or a week ahead, it's better than doing it on the hop, right? Because we've got all the doubt and the fear and all the worry. So be a little bit more strategic, plan a week out if you can. Use Planoly. And even if it's just a case of planning your images, and then the words will flow after that. That is what has worked for me, at least, because it's scheduled to go. I need to get my stuff together, right? So tactically, that can work, right? Like hands-on thing, using a planner. From a theoretical point of view and from a mindset point of view, I really want you to think about that person, your ideal client, your person who needs to hear your stuff. If you're a copywriter, there's people that need to know what you can do and how you can help them with your copy, with your messaging. If you are a designer, people need to see your work so that they can see that you have the answer to their problems, right? If you're a brand designer, a brand strategist, the same thing applies. Keep that person front and center. And so if you have never done any work on your ideal client, other than she is a she and she, works this job or, has this many kids or whatever, go deeper. Go deeper. Now is the time to really think about what is it that she wants to hear and see from you in your content, right? And keeping her front and center. What are the problems that she has that you can help her with, right? What are the things that she's thinking about? Where can you meet her where she's at? Okay. So when you put that person front and center, and remember that their taste is not where your taste is or where your skill level is, it's way beyond that, way below that, and that's okay. That can help us alleviate those feelings of perfectionism and allow you to move forward, right? Because the perfectionism isn't helping anything, isn't helping anyone. The only thing that it is doing is your brain trying to keep you safe and keep you sheltered, right? But we cannot build a business from in here, from behind our screen. You've got to be able to put yourself out there. And that's just in real life too, right? In any kind of a business, it's been the same in marketing from the beginning of marketing. You can't, run a business if nobody knows about you. Cannot be the world's best kept secret. So you got to put yourself out there. And perfectionism has its place in, I don't know, high commissioned work. Until we get to that point, maybe it's time just to set it aside and just keep moving forward, right? One foot in front of the other. The worst thing that can happen is or one thing that you can do is you can archive your old posts. You can get rid of them if you felt like they didn't meet up to your high standards. But I would caution you with that, right? Keep moving it forward. We're not looking back. Keep moving it forward. And you will get better and better and better and better and better the more you post. All right. So that was just my little tidbit share today. I wanted to make sure that y'all got a piece of that lesson. It's been a lesson. And I tell you what, it comes up all of the time for me. It's not ever a one and done. So you've got to remember to have those tools in your pocket. If you can plan from a place of when you're feeling good and your brain is in a good way, in a good state of mind, if you can plan out, then the times when everything is like busy or not going good, that you're kind of you're what's the word I'm looking for, I guess you're standing up for that person, who oh, my brain has just gone. But what I'm trying to say is when you're in a good place, you plan for that time when you're not going to be in a good place and you're sticking up for that person, even when they're not feeling it. You've already done the work. So you're taking that out of the loop, right? You're taking that thought process out of the loop. You can tell my brain is full of things right now. So anyway, I just wanted to share, just wanted to inspire. You're not alone, but perfectionism is not something that you should hold in high regard. We need to set the perfectionism aside, and you're more than switching out the I'm a perfectionist. You're like, I'm a person who gets stuff done, right? We learn from the mistakes, we learn the lessons. So that's all I have for you today. If you are feeling called to have somebody work with you on this perfectionism, if you feel like this is something that's holding you back with your visibility, I would encourage you to sign up for a strategy call with me. There is the link right there, ingridkellyowens.com/strategy. And on that strategy call, we can get clear on what is it that is holding you back from getting visible? What is it holding you back from getting in front of your audience? We can shatter those mindset blocks. We can get through all of that, and we can talk about ways that you can move forward, practical ways, and have somebody to hold you accountable and hold your hand as you progress along this entrepreneurial path, because it is a lonely one sometimes, and the more people that we have supporting us, the better. All right, that's all for now. Have an awesome week ahead, and I will promise to talk to you very soon. Take care and have a good one.